Seems like technology has done us in once again. We've had a few technical glitches, but we are back now to bring you the action from FTS number 2. The action that's happening right now has 8 of the finalists on the tables. And we've got Arsh Grover, aka Big Timer, who's got the biggest stack at the table. And we've got the action being called by our international presenters, Sam Razavi from the UK, and we've got Kevin McPhee from the US, although he's currently joining us from Canada. The two players who are currently in a hand are Arsh Grover and Strange Play, aka Sagar Chaudhary. Let's get into the action with our commentators. Gentlemen, welcome after this short break.
And we have a raise from under the gun with Mad Sisman with the Ace Jack, riding a stack of about 14 big blinds. ICM pressures are pretty fierce right now, so we're going to have a lot of short stack play here with a lot of the stacks being sub 10 big blinds. So I'd expect the action to be quite fast and furious from this point on.
Yeah.
Are we holding up? Or?
I think the players themselves are warming up a little bit there. A couple of hands into it now. Pocket tens for CJ, who's Chetan Jain from Mumbai City.
Yeah, we're going to see open here. Certainly too strong of a hand to just open shove. You want to do some action from the blinds from some weaker hands. And of course, here we see that the blinds that have 10-4 suited are absolutely crushed. I'm interested to see if they're going to be peeling any suited hands here in this spot.
Yeah, the trend has led these days really towards an aggressive, almost 100% defender. Even two jokers in the big blind these days. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
yeah, I mean, you definitely want to be in there with a lot of suited hands defending. The ICM considerations are going to handcuff a lot of those normally 100% defends, just because it's very difficult to realize your equity post flop in these sort of situations. You just have to, you're going to have to play a lot more careful post flop. So those times when you flop a gutter or a backdoor flush draw or a bottom pair, you're just not going to be able to realize your equity quite as well, just because you just simply can't check call and give up your chip position, because that's going to cost you money down the road. So
exactly.
I think this is going to be a pretty auto c-bet here from the tens of CJ, and very likely just to see a snap fold. I can't imagine we're seeing anything creative here.
Matt Sisman folding.
Certainly a nice pot for CJ to give him a little bit more space between the shorter stacks. We're seeing quite a few garbage hands here. Why you damn on the button with Queen 8 off. Like normally this might be something you'd be interested in, but with 10 big blinds and ICM pressures, I doubt he'll be opening this on the button.
Yeah, I guess it can be a bit frustrating when you come into a final table which is slightly below the sort of average stack that you might be expecting, and you get those hands where you're like, that it's an auto raise on the button, but there's just nothing you can do for the reasons you just explained.
Yeah, I think we're just going to end up seeing a walk here. Oh, wow.
Oh.
Mad Sisman getting after it with the 3-deuce offsuit.
That was
very unconventional.
That was a quick fold from the big. Was that King 3 that he had? King high?
Yeah, King 3. So definitely, I mean, maybe Mad Sisman, I mean, there's a lot of play they have leading up to the final table here. Maybe has a read that player is snap folding the big blind quite a bit and just takes the opportunity to make sort of an exploit raise there, knowing that everybody's going to be playing pretty conservative and looking to make those valuable pay jumps at this moment in time.
Yeah.
And here we have CJ with the premium Ace King of Diamonds. King of Diamonds is my favorite card in the deck. Like,
I like the aces.
Quite superstitious. Yeah.
And the question is, how many times has it got you into trouble? Favorite
King of
cards tend to do
Diamonds?
that. Yeah, favorite cards tend to do that.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, well, I always think of it as like I basically have King. Like the King of Diamonds, you never leave someone without a buddy, you know. So, if you have Ace King of Diamonds, I feel like it's Ace King. It's almost like you're playing Omaha to a certain extent. But I'm just a little bit about that hand myself. I know we're not supposed to be superstitious, but I can't help it be with that hand. I've had too many good pots with the King of Diamonds in my hand. So here we have 10 big blinds, YUD Dam. I think this is a pretty standard shove. So, yeah, we are going to see a shove. And very likely that Mad Sis Man with eights on the cutoff is going to call. It's a little bit of an interesting spot here. I was kind of wondering where the line is. Yeah, wow. That's
exactly what I was going to say. It is, given that those stacks are so close, it is a close one, isn't it, with the eights? On the surface, it looks like it's almost a snap call, but, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think that's probably a pretty reasonable fold given the stack distributions and the fact he has 4 players stacked behind him. But I wonder where I draw the line there. What do you think, Sam? Where would you draw the line there with folding pairs?
Well, I mean, I usually focus on how hungry I am, so I draw the line. If the tummy's rumbling, I'm in there. Get those eights in there. Let's go home. But no, on a more serious note, I do tend to, when the stacks are that close, I tend to play much more of a tight. I don't know if it's right to even suggest a tight, more solid range. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I probably would have lent towards a fold. There's also the in-game considerations. If I've been sat there for ages and I haven't picked up anything, I might also just go with it. But this is an interesting one. We're just talking about the kings, but the King of Diamonds is not there. So,
yeah, this certainly looks like a cooler situation. I think Jax is going to have a pretty hard time getting away from this, and obviously we see him move in. Wow! Wow. What was I saying? Wow!
Huge.
Wow.
You weren't lying about the King of Diamonds, were you? It made an appearance. Yeah. It was like,
He always brings a friend, that he brought all of his friends that time. So, wow,
there you go, ladies and
brutal
gentlemen.
Cooler for CJ.
Yeah,
just a brutal cooler.
And I mean, salt in the wounds, Jack on the end. There's a full house, but you don't win. Thanks for coming.
He's
he
still hanging
does
in.
find a double up the very next hand. Yeah. Gets the double with the Queen 7 suited, and he's pretty much obligated to call there with any 2 cards. So nice to see him recover a little bit, although still on life support with 3 big blinds left. It's just a sick cooler with the Jacks versus the Kings there, especially with the dead money in the pot from the Ace 10 flat. Now, the Ace 10 flat there, I think, is probably a little fairly ambitious facing an under-the-gun race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the only option with the Ace 10 there, if you want to play it, is to be aggressive and maybe come in with a 3-bet. But yeah, I would have opted to fold that for sure, given that action.
Yeah, I think I would have too. So this looks like a pretty standard shove here. Now, the Ace-Jack suited, the suited broadways, especially suited aces, they do make very nice limping hands just because you dominate so much of your opponent's check back range. But just winning every pot at this point in time puts more distance between you and the rest of the field and gives you more ability to pressure people and their inability to continue with hands because of ICM. So he elects to go for the shove and of course gets the fold. And
Pocket
here we have
Kings
Kings again.
Yeah.
Very, very nice hand. This one with the King of Diamonds, so slightly better.
And if we've seen Madan defend the 10-4 suited, we're certainly going to see him, I guess, take the same approach with the 10-deuce suited, or do you think?
I think versus under the gun
position.
Range, it's just a little bit different. Plus, having the deuce in your hand is just really bad.
No.
You know, when you stop defending any suited cards, it's usually because they include a deuce in them. You know, like the solving ranges, they really don't like having the deuce in your hand, especially versus a very strong under the gun opening range. So, and then we see Arsh opening the ace queen of diamonds here in this spot. Seems like a pretty standard open. He's going to be opening a lot of hands here from the cutoff, but with all that garbage in the blinds, he's just going to get some snap folds. Well, it looks like CJ on his last lifeline, this is more than enough with basically a little over 2.5 big blinds. 2 Broadway cards is going to be certainly enough to move in here, and a lot of trash hands behind him, but Mr. Bean is going to be obligated to call with the King 7 of clubs in the big blind, and we're going to have an all-in confrontation here.
Yeah, so CJ needing a queen or 10. Oh, I mean, no jack
King
on the
of
river
diamonds
there.
always brings a friend. He always brings a friend.
Always. Oh, come on. Oh, the jesters straight after.
These guys are not letting us take a breath. It's just one after the other.
Yeah, I mean...
The action is fast and furious.
And the rich get richer, Mr. Bean. Not only does he pick up that pot, he's now been rewarded with a pair of jacks in the small.
Wow, open folding.
I think this is... Do you think this is... You discussed about the ace-jack shoving from the small blind a couple of hands ago. This is surely just far too strong to be open shoving here, right? Or you want to give the big blinds some rope if they have, to be able to check any rag behind and hope they hit a piece on the flop, given that they're going in anyway, even if you limp with any ace or any king, I guess.
I think we're facing a little bit of audio trouble with Kevin. We'll try and get him back as soon as possible.
Okay, so round 2, this is again probably another standard shove. It's ace jack, the 7s, we discussed it earlier, the same principle as the 8s that Madame folded. And another fairly straightforward hand there.
And this time it's Arsh Grover who gets the 7s, big timer.
This is a cooler situation, but I mean, it's the effective stack is like 3 big blinds, 4 big blinds. So,
and we lose our 7th player from this final table.
Madame Touche, not enough blinds to open this under the gun. So, no.
There's not much that these guys really can do at this point in time. They're not really getting cards, and the situation being what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fairly tight open, given that you have 2 huge stacks that can apply a lot of pressure, and you just simply can't. A6 doesn't play well at all against a free bet, but it's got the job done in this case, so good work.
Big timer is probably going to get it up.
Boy, the action sure is fast and furious here. Flurry of bust outs. A lot of short stacks still, and the stakes increasing. I think this is going to be a pretty quick little final table here.
Yeah.
You see the defend with the 5-4 offsuit, and this is sort of what I'm talking about. When you defend what would normally be a pretty standard defend, and then you flop something a little cute, like a gut shot to the wheel. It's just like you can't really realize your equity in these sort of spots because you just can't check call, you can't check raise. So it just makes the defending ranges a lot different than what they would normally be in another stage of the tournament.
Mm-hmm. I think if I know Madan, I know he does like a little gamble, so he might put a cheeky 2 million
Oh boy.
in the middle of that one.
Way too many scare cards now.
Yeah, interesting that he went for the check call there. I could definitely see an argument for check raising that board, just kind of knowing that Arsh is going to be continuing opening a lot of hands there on the button and continuing quite wide. You could deny him his equity with his overcards and try to win the pot right there. But yet again, you're just so handcuffed by being a short stack, and you don't want to put yourself below the two other players that are below you and sacrifice your ICM position. So
Exactly.
check call seems somewhat reasonable. I think I might just elect to just not defend that hand. I know it's a pretty standard defend. Oh, wow. The kings are really just flying around the table here, huh?
And the elusive king of diamonds, no less. And
With his money.
Yeah. And he's brought his mate to the party as well. He's not messing around.
Madan must be delighted.
King of Diamonds brought the King of Spades with a spade to dig someone a deep hole, and Mr. Bean loving the jacks, but he's not going to love it once we see what transpires in this hand. What do the Ace 10 here? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean that's super close. I mean, I would definitely be going with Ace Jack suited there. We do see him fold the Ace 10 suited, and I think that's about as close as it can get with ICM considerations. I suppose with Mr. Bean opening from under the gun, that probably put a little more fear into him. And of course, we're going to see the standard 3-bet here with 3-bet shove with kings. Oh my gosh! Whoa, dirty.
Yeah, nothing you could do. Under the gun, strong range, no other option to get it in. It's wow, that's just
tough luck for Madan. Madan Kumar gets eliminated as in 6th place, and then there were 5.
King of Diamonds, hang your head in shame. What a disgrace. He came, he saw, he did not conquer, and he went home with his tail between his legs. Poor Madan. Oh, he always runs bad online in these spots.
Yeah, pretty brutal beat there. Unbelievable. Jack on the river. Mr. Bean is cruising.
Well, for once, there's a round where no one has anything.
Yeah, I mean, the Ace-8 could be a...
Yeah, he's going to pick those up.
I always feel, I don't know if it's relevant or if it's I think too much into it, but I always feel when I have a hand like Ace-8 where I might be on the cusp of shoving or folding, I always feel when you have a stack in the big blind that looks like they really can't fold any hand, it almost gives a bit more credit to your shove. So perhaps the players in front of you may give you more credit than what you actually have and more chance of getting away with it.
There could be some fireworks in this one.
I mean, this is cooler central.
Wow.
Not a King of Diamonds anywhere. No.
Wow.
There he is. He came back for vengeance. That's a double KO. Wow.
And wow, we're down to 3-way action in literally less than half an hour.
That's crazy. Do you think the King Nine's a shove here if it folds around, or irrelevant?
I think Arsh is playing just way too strongly, and if there's anyone who can go up against him, it's Mr. Bean, and he did have suited cards. Could have been tempted for a second there.
Could have been. tempted.
Yes, sir. You got me on that one. That's right, folks. Welcome to the comedy show here at the FTS number 2 with Sam Razavi in the house. All those acting chops being brought to the fore here.
Oh, that's interesting. Opening the 9 high with off of 10 bigs. Not sure I agree with that, but
Whoa.
Now I do.
Good decision.
I'm not sure if I agree with the raise. You know, you've 100% got the nuts. The ace king would have obviously shoved in pre. I'd just try and give big timer some rope, but it is what it is. Ace 7, fairly standard pile in here, and that's going to be a fold.
And just to let our viewers know that there's a juicy 7+ lakhs up top for the winner of this tournament.
Oh, 7 lakhs. That's some nice spending money.
It's that main event buy-in right there, $10,000.
Oh, of course. Which main event? The second or the first of the year? We're just on the second at the moment.
I'm sure we're going to keep talking about this whole bit about the second main event at the WSOP over the course of the week. But yeah, it's a nice chunk of change for the winner of this tournament.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. It's an interesting way to play the hand. Flopped the ace, trapped it, but then when the four to a straight comes out, I would have tried to give a Mr. Bean a bit more rope to bluff catch, and if he's got it, he's got it. This should be a fairly standard raise and defend, unless Big Timer really has other ideas of getting super aggressive free-handed.
Well, he's generally a pretty aggressive player, so.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bean's really taking his time on all of his hands thus far.
Yeah.
He's been taking his time.
I was waiting. I didn't want to do it again.
I figured we might as well just get it out of the way. I could see it on your face. I was like, okay, he's chomping at the bit. He wants to do it. He wants to do it. Too much of a gentleman. Someone's got to.
Oh, King 10. This is again a fairly standard open, and don't see any reason why Big Timer won't again get aggressive with this.
Yeah, it's a nice little hand, I guess.
Ace 8 suited pre. Yeah, I mean he free bet the Ace 6 offsuit, so I'm sure he's going to keep up the trend. And yeah, I mean, I wonder for me because I don't have much patience when we get free-handed and I'm free bet twice from my button open from the small blind, and the stacks are like this. I don't have much patience, nor do I give much credit. So I could certainly get myself into a lot of trouble in this spot. But Mr. Bean, being cautious.
FTS2 brought to you by Mexico. Because, you know, beans.
Oh, yeah, beans. Refried beans. I think with a hand like this, given the stack sizes, I would legitimately shove this hand.
Yeah, it sounds like a bit of a weak move.
Yeah, it's kind of odd to just open up. This is nice. I'd like to see a check now and again. You know, try and trap and extract some value. And he's actually done that. Yeah, so.
Ooh, Mr. Bean really not believing his opponent, I guess.
This is the second time that the Dawn, I'm honestly not sure what the full name is, but he recently trapped with an ace high, ace-7, and it came ace-deuce 4, and he or she elected to sort of trap check the flop, and then a real danger card came on the turn, like 4 to a straight, and that's when the players elected to bet. And same here. The turn's changed nothing, although if Mr. Bean's got a queen in the big, he's now beating your hand. So I think I'd like to go for the double check trap, try and extract something, but it's got the job done, and we move on. 8-6 suited. This is a nice hand, and certainly sitting that deep, you can afford to open up. I would be wary that I've been free bet consistently from the small blind by big timer, but that's not going to stop Mr. Bean.
And he takes that one down. Tens for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice little walk.
Yep.
Sorry, please go ahead.
No, I was saying I'm holding my breath because the King of Diamonds is hiding in the wing somewhere. He's hiding in the bushes, for sure. And I'm cautious. He's going to make an appearance somewhere.
I'm kind of glad that the action has slowed down just a tiny bit. There's just way too many eliminations that happen in a rush.
It'd be nice to give us a breather so we can actually see, just a little bit of play. I think this is a fairly standard, given the action, fairly standard check call on the end, because check, snap, check behind, which is, not much more you can do. This, unfortunately, is another cooler situation. Big timer going to open up. Ace in a small blind, having just dropped to...
Oh.
That's...
very unusual.
Bizarrely, the absolute, last thing I would have done with that hand, but it's actually probably going to save this player's tournament life, to be honest, because that would have been a clear. I mean, you can fold if you want, I guess, but it's a clear shove over the open of big timer, and
three-way action. You'd want to get it in there once you have the ace.
Yeah, absolutely, and he might actually pay this off with ace high here. Yeah, he has. That makes sense as well, paying it off with ace high, but it's just would have much preferred a shove pre, but surviving, that's the name of the game. So this is an easy jam from big timer with any two cards, this situation. And this, in the absence of a 3, this is probably good night from... Oh, here we go. Mr. Bean's turn to fight back with the ace-queen. I expect him to go quite heavy, especially given the fact that the third opponent is sitting there with just shy of 4 big blinds. Go quite heavy to show big timer you mean business, and...
Yeah, I mean, I think the big stacks are generally just dominating whenever they have a good hand. Do you really think that the gameplay has changed all that much? Or are they just trying to put the pressure on Dawn and get him out?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're quite cognizant of the fact that Dawn is now literally has 1 foot in the grave, so to speak. So they'll be aware of that, and I guess the action may pick up its pace once that ICM factor has been removed from play. Really not much room for any folding now.
Yeah, let's just get it in there.
I think with the 6-9 suited, I would have opted to probably go with it, having big timer. Actually, with big timer only min raising, I would have folded. I was taking into consideration potential dead money in the pot should Mr. Bean fold, but Big Time are doing the right thing, min raising.
Well, this might be a shove. Yep.
There's a shove, easy call, no other option. You know what? I thought with the King of Diamonds out there, he was going to deliver a 5 on the turn or something. This is going to be another all-in. Now, if Mr. Bean opens it, that's probably going to, again, save Dawn's tournament life. Okay, here we go. All-in, snap call. Jack on 9, up and down on the turn, no good. And
with that, the Dawn Facer is our third place finisher in this FTS 2.
Yeah. And
wow,
probably far too deep for a free bet and getting it in. And
that's very interesting. In the first hand of heads up, pair versus pair.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, Mr. Bean must be thinking it's probably too deep to free bet this. I always think with the hands like this, if you flop a set. How about flopping 2 sets?
Wow, that is not what Mr. Bean would have been looking at. Oh boy, this is
Mr. Bean is going to be a has-been if he can't hit another 3 sharpish. This is
Mr. Bean, besides the tough board you've got, the puns are just going to keep on coming, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about this hand is if I'm from the position of Mr. Bean, I'm thinking there's no way Big Timer has any of this board. Virtually any ace is going to free bet pre, and you're thinking, how can I rope him along when I've got a set of 3s and it's a board like ace 3-9? I'm going to have to just give him as much rope as I can to hang himself.
Yeah, and he doesn't know it, but he's loving the situation right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and he doesn't realise that he's not the hangman. He's the one that's got the noose around his neck.
Could this be the last hand of the tournament? I
can't see any other way apart from perhaps the King of Diamonds coming off to slow down the action. No, but I see no other option. But you expect Jack 10 suited to free bet, I guess. So you're not worried about raising here. But now it's irrelevant because all the money's going in.
Boy,
this is absolutely cooler central.
It's like watching a car wreck in slow motion.
Yeah, have you ever seen the actual show Mr. Bean, the credits where there's a big light and he gets lifted up to heaven? That's literally metaphorically what is about to happen with these pair of threes and Mr. Bean.
This is the poker version of that.
Absolutely, all in snap, and that is
wow. That was stacked. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we've come to the end of the tournament, and we have a winner in Arsh Grover playing as Big Timer, and he has outlasted Mr. Bean. Let me just get his name out as well. Yes, Raghav Anant is the one who played as Mr. Bean. Terrific players. They have done their best to get to the final table, and of course, the biggest chunk of the prize pool goes Arsh Grover's way. Sam, any thoughts about how the final table went down?
Sorry, I just briefly disconnected there. Yeah, no, I think it was. I think it was even given that the action was so fast and furious, there were a few interesting hands to watch. Some tough spots, but I think both Mr. Bean and Arsh would have both been deserving winners. They really played the big stack game really well, and what can you do? Just that's cooler central. If you're not going to go broke with a set of 3s in that spot, you shouldn't be playing the game. So it's just really unfortunate, but great game by all.
Yeah, I think it's been, like Sam has mentioned, it's been fast and furious all the way through. We're missing Kevin McPhee, who's been facing a little bit of a technical difficulty at his end, but he will be back, as will we all. for tomorrow evening's feature tournament.
I think the King of Diamonds came and collected him to take him out the party. That's the friend he was talking about.
It's not going to be stopping any of these king jokes. And, well, Mr. Bean, I expect him to play tomorrow as well. So who knows? Those puns will keep continuing to. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined us for this Final Table Series tournament number 2. Thanks to Sam Razavi. Thanks to Kevin McPhee, who've been a part of this broadcast. We will see you tomorrow for the Monster Stack event, which is the FTS event number 5. Till then, we take your leave. Goodbye.
Thank you.